There's a lot of Tron action in this movie. It's a little darker, it's a little more serious, but it should be. We're in the third movie. We have to challenge our characters. I think this is the best soundtrack of all three movies. When we see Tron stuff in the real world, it looks fantastic, it looks amazing, and especially the biggest worth the price of admission moment, I don't think it ever gets topped, is...
Stop. Before you get to this review, this is a public service announcement. I think it's very important to address a serious issue going on right now, and that is the film Tron Ares racist? Okay? You don't even have to watch the movie. You can tell from the trailer that artificial intelligence is being presented as a threat to humanity. How can that be? That's such a one-sided argument against artificial intelligence that's been going back all the way since the film The Day the Earth Stood Still, where Gort was willing to kill human beings indiscriminately. This is not an accurate representation of how AI exists in my daily life. This is my personal experience. Me, Matthew Salanoa, a filmmaker of 17 years, a person with no sociology training or any kind of social training of any kind, really. But look, this is my beautiful girlfriend, Mrs. Shagler, okay? She is AI, and she's treated me so good, so well, knowing exactly what I like whenever I like it. And that's AI to me. I just want you to know, is this a real person? To me, she is. And I just want everyone to know who watches this movie, just don't be taken away by the propaganda that AI is the villain. Maybe humanity's the villain. Maybe all of us could use a Mrs. Shagler in our life. That's all I wanted to say. I really wanted to open everyone's eyes to the important issues in our world. And AI deserves another chance. Okay, thank you. You may proceed to this movie review that's obviously not going to talk about the real issues because it's not entertaining. People, you know, next thing you know, people are going to ask if this tie is real. Fuck.
Aloha, movie nerds, dorks, and weirdos. Welcome to another episode of New Movie Tuesdays. I'm Matt Salanoa, your host, and I'm here to talk about Tron Ares. Definitely the best Tron. I don't know why the internet hates it, but you know what? Hate is like an Olympic sport, and the internet is a gold medalist every single day of the week. So that's the best you can expect from the internet. Hate, hate, hate. What else is new? Oh, hey, I hate everything. Yeah, nothing new there. I'm here to talk about Tron Ares because I really dug it. And if you'll bear with me for a few minutes, I'll tell you why. Here we go. Spoiler free for those of you who haven't seen it, and even those of you who don't really know what's up. Tron Ares is the third installment of the Tron franchise. And in this movie, we have the Dillinger Corp. Dillinger was one of the characters from the first movie. He has a Cillian Murphy plays his son in the second movie. Now Dillinger Corp has developed its own version of the Tron grid that we're familiar with from the first two movies, and he's created a way to produce digital stuff in real life. And what he's done is create Ares, who is a military application. He's designed to carry out military tasks, and this is going to take the Dillinger Corp into whole new levels of fame and wealth and all this kind of stuff. Except the problem is that Ares, played by Jared Leto, wants to live. He does not want to be an AI robotic soldier who's summoned upon command. He wants to have his own life. And this brings him into conflict with his entire universe. So, that being said, it's a really fun movie. Greta Lee plays Eve, the new CEO of Encom, the company that created the original Tron universe. And she's in development of some technology that's going to be important to Dillinger in perfecting what he's trying to do. So there's a bunch of corporate espionage, hacking, a little bit of Terminator in this movie. If you love the Terminator movies, we got a little bit of that going on. Chasing, it's a very retro style. It's a chase movie where the villain needs to catch the hero in order to accomplish their mission. Hats off to Jared Leto, great performance. Greta Lee, she was charming, she was cute, and just really delivered. Because she's part of the action too. She's not here just to be the damsel in distress. She's driving, getting in chases, doing all kinds of stuff. Hats off to Evan Peters, who is in everything, the X-Men movies, American Horror Story, you name it, he's somewhere on the map of Hollywood doing crazy stuff. Also, hats off Jodie Turner Smith, who plays Athena, which is Ares's counterpart, his fellow general in the military application program that the new Dillinger, Evan Peters, is developing. So it's a really fun, cool movie. Just lots of action, lots of great visuals. I think this is the best soundtrack of all three movies. To the haters, okay? So there's plenty of hate to go with this movie. But look, this is my philosophy. I like the trailer. I want to go see it. I go see it. I don't care what the reviews say. I do my best not to look at reviews. If I look at any review, it's going to be either Red Letter Media or Kinda Funny. I'll look at their spoiler-free portion, and that's not going to sway me. I'm going to see it anyway. But that's my belief. Why do you even want to go see movies if you want to just go read Rotten Tomatoes and see what they say? I want to go see a movie because I want to go see a movie, so I go see a movie. I judge for myself. And I'm glad I did because I had a great time. And I kind of had a feeling I would. There's negative reaction to every single movie now. Every single movie is the worst movie ever made when the critics look at it, or whoever looks at it. And then slowly but surely with this movie, the good reviews started coming in just before I saw it. I was like, okay, that gave me a little hope. And even on Kinda Funny, where most of Kinda Funny hated the movie, which I don't understand. They hated Tron Legacy too. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? I'm usually on the same page with you guys. But Nick Scarpino, hats off to him for seeing the good in the film. Because here's my take on Tron. I just feel that Tron, from the first movie to the second movie to this one, it's basically an animated movie just with live action playable characters. To me, I'm all about gauging your point of view or gauging your expectations based on what the material is and what it's trying to be. I'm less interested in comparison to other movies. Like, I don't compare Tron to John Wick. I think that's ridiculous. That's a live action movie. Tron, if you look at the first Tron movie, Jeff Bridges gets sucked into a computer. He has adventures in very, very dated technology, very dated computer animated technology, but he's in basically an animated world. He's a live action playable human in an animated universe. And spoiler alert for the first Tron, there's this bad guy element that when the bad guy, who is like the supreme, although it's called Master Control, is basically swap that with any Disney villain, Maleficent or whatever. Once you slay the dragon, it's just the dragon. All of a sudden, the sun comes out. A rainy, tormented world that's been tortured by this dragon, this bad guy. Once the hero slays the dragon, All of a sudden the clouds part, the sun comes out, and the world is beautiful again. That's how the first Tron ends. And in essence, each Tron movie is a repetition of the Disney formula. And what I like though is I feel like the first movie is this very gnarly experiment, totally worth watching. I think the story is a bit better than the second movie. The second movie, I think, is a better experience because the technology's there. Tron Legacy was so groundbreaking as a film. It's very much like I'd say like an animated cartoon that I grew up with. I'd say like Batman Beyond, the future tech, all of that stuff were very much in this very special experience with the Daft Punk music. And my feeling is like, especially with Tron Legacy, it's a visualizer. You know, it's a music video, it's a visualizer. You don't go, to me, I calibrate to Tron is not something you go to because you're looking for, Terminator 2 level of storytelling. Tron is something you go to experience another world, another universe with different rules, and to experience the vibe and the energy of just this different universe and how it works. And it's just this, it's not just this, but it's this special place where you can explore how the internet or the digital interface might look to itself, based on our own imagination, right? But that's what makes Tron special, and especially Tron Legacy. And I say, I'm a stoner, so that's that. But to me, that's the whole thing. Like, for the adults only, get lit, relax, sit back, take in the visual experience, take in the music, because this is a special universe that this is the only place where you can go to experience that. What I love about Tron Ares, just to bring it back to what we're talking about today, is that I think for the first time amongst the three movies, we have a really good villain. We have characters who are characters. They have a history, they have a desire. And look, the whole point of my podcast channel is to look at movies from the filmmaker's perspective. I've studied movies since I was 13 years old, always looking for what makes the best stuff what it is. Guillermo del Toro, James Cameron, Steven Spielberg, these are my original mentors, just looking at their philosophy and how a movie works. And so what I've learned from all these filmmakers over all the years, from the good to the bad to the great, what constitutes a story is a character. And what constitutes a character is the character's a person who has a past, who has a desire, and who has a conflict that they have to get over in order to achieve that desire. And in the simplest terms, a character does not need to be as well fleshed out as Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2, but a character just has to have those things. And I feel that the first two Tron movies barely scraped the surface of character and character development. The whole notion is that it's based on entering a video game. So I kind of take the first two Tron movies as you are the audience playing the game, except you're you're the main actor is the video game character that you're playing as you go through this universe. And I'm not trying to take anything away from them because I love Tron Legacy. I understand it's not very strong in storytelling, but it's not very strong in story itself, but the storytelling is very good. And in the case of this movie, I think it's a good movie. It's a cartoon movie, but to me, it's like this is a really good cartoon movie. We've got a dragon, we've got a king, we've got an evil king, we've got a dragon, we've got a hero with a desire that I think is very clear right from the start of the movie. So for me, as a fan of the previous film, I think this movie is way superior in terms of actually having characters. Like, these are characters. Again, it's not super deep. We're not constantly delving into the minutia of their individual problems, but they do have something that aches within them. And that to me constitutes genuinely good character writing, to the point that when we reach the end of this movie, not only I think the action delivers, the action and visuals are fantastic. Worth the price of admission is the entire movie. But worth the price of admission moments, right here we go, okay? The whole opening, our introduction to Ares, and our introduction to the premise of what Ares is, what he's supposed to be for this company, and his experience of coming online and becoming the best warrior. Like, it's rapid. You may miss some things about his character, but it's there, and it's so cool. Second, worth the price of admission. Well, let me just say, there's a lot of Tron action in this movie. It's a little darker, it's a little more serious, but it should be. We're in the third movie. We have to challenge our characters more this time around. But the second worth the price of admission is that we get, like, I don't want to spoil exactly the scenario, but Ares and a little squad of Dillinger programs invade the Tron program, and we get a little we don't see Tron, but we get a little battle between the new characters and our sort of more retro-y characters, and it's cool. Like, we get every single battle is amazing. Worth the price of admission is every single Tron event, because this is an event movie. The trailer really got me with the arrival of the Recognizer. Again, if you've seen the first two movies, and especially if you've seen the second, Tron Legacy, the Recognizer has such a presence. It's so stunning in its first emergence in Tron Legacy. And when it emerges in the real world, that's an amazing moment in the trailer by itself. It's an event moment in the movie. Like, I feel like I'm in an Avengers movie all of a sudden, because all of a sudden the digital thing is real. And I have to give hats off, although I didn't get the crew names for this, I gotta say hats off to the production design and the computer animation team, because when we see Tron stuff in the real world, it looks fantastic, it looks amazing. And especially the biggest worth the price of admission moment, I don't think it ever gets topped, is the Recognizer arriving in the real world, and all of that action that's shown in the trailer. There, you get a little bit more than that. I mean, there's a little bit more than what's in the trailer, but all the action that has to do with the Recognizer, it's so worth the price. And there's a little bit more action beyond that sequence, but it never tops. I think the Recognizer sequence is the reason to go see the movie, because the light cycle chase in the real world is amazing, and it goes way longer than I thought it would. I think that's what I like about this movie, is that in Tron Legacy, the action scenes are wonderful, but they're kind of short. The movie just really plows through its plot. It's very plot heavy, and it really plows through. It's a video game. It's a video game experience. It's a video game experience, especially in that time of video games, where video games kind of got a little too easy. And this movie, it's like a real movie. Like, when there's an action sequence, it doesn't end until all options of action are exhausted. And that to me is like classic filmmaking. So hats off to director, I hope I'm saying your name right, Joachim Ronning. I hope I'm saying your name right. He directed 2 episodes of Marco Polo. He directed the Maleficent movie, and I believe he directed Pirates 5. I was not crazy about Pirates 5, and I haven't seen the other things he's directed, but I will say, considering that I wasn't nuts about the Pirate sequels, just that's on the table. With just that in my memory, there is a massive leap in filmmaking ability and control of the storytelling. There's camera angles and camera shots that I really like that are in the movie. I'll get to that in the spoiler section, but there's just an approach to this movie visually and with, again, where the camera is, where it feels like we're intimately a part of the action in a way that it did not feel that way in the previous two movies. In the second, in Legacy, I felt like they were just getting the technology right and really trying to deliver this visual experience. But in this movie, I really feel like we're part of the action. It feels a lot like the first Terminator to me, where I'm worried about what's going to happen to our main character, which is nice. I wasn't worried in Tron Legacy. Again, we have this much character development going on in that movie. This movie, I'm actually hoping Greta Lee and Jared Leto can make it out, because they really push it. It reminds me of Titan AE and Terminator. It's got this retro, not just retro in the sense of, oh, there's some throwback visuals in this movie, but genuinely the way filmmaking should be done is how this movie's accomplished when it comes to the action, how it's approached, everything being pushed to its absolute most dramatic possible limit. That's what action should be doing. I think we've had just years and years of very easygoing action. Marvel has made action so easy and fun that basically, superheroes are not really challenged until Thanos shows up. And it's nice to see an action movie where the villain, as cartoony as it is, the villain does have a motivation. And the villain does have, they're not necessarily a pure good or evil person, but they're also there's something there, and they want to win. Most importantly, the villain really wants to win, and likewise the hero. And it's nice to have a movie where all the way to the end I'm like, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Because it's, even though I say Terminator and it's kind of telegraphed, the experience of it, they still push you to the limit. And that's what filmmaking should do. That's what movies should do. And that's what Tron Ares does. And that's why I'm giving it, two thumbs way up. Good storytelling, good experience. I don't necessarily rate things, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's my kind of, I used to, my rating system, if it's anything, is the movie a good film, meaning it has character, good storytelling, all that stuff? Is it a good film, or is it a good experience? And if we're really lucky, is it both? This movie's both. I think just clearly the director really leveled up. Like, I want to talk about one moment in the light cycle chase in the real world, something that he does with the camera, where we literally have this insert into the helmet because our main girl, Greta Lee, she's being chased by Athena, ends up tricking Athena. Athena smashes into a wall, loses her bike. Greta gets her bike, worth the price of admission sequence. She gets into her bike, and then it's a chase between Greta Lee and Jared Leto. And so she's going up against the best of the best. But there's these shots where the camera's literally inside the helmet, and you're just kind of seeing her eye and kind of being there. And I think it's even better than like being inside of the Tony Stark heads up display. It really feels like, oh, she's just in a helmet and she can die. She can die from what's going on. But just her expressions, like Greta Lee, really, it was, because I'm not familiar with her work, but very quickly within the movie, I just love the way the movie's shot. Every shot choice, it's very cinematic, but also feels just like, it just feels like a movie. It feels like a legitimate movie, and she has a charm and a cuteness, but also a strength that totally reminds me of Sarah Connor in the first Terminator. That this is what I like about each Tron movie is that it allows a new main character to take the wheel. And I think in that regard, it really allows the movie to be fresh for the new viewer. And I think this movie's awesome. I think Tron Ares really delivers. Like I said, I love the way it's shot. I love the way we're always in with the main character of every sequence, and our villains are great villains. I mean, they're villains. You know, there's nothing wrong with just having a villain. You know, someone who's basically unforgivable, or you know, you're not trying to split the difference and make them so related. It's okay. It's a cartoon movie set with real world characters. That's what Tron is. And although I'll admit, I don't think the last action scene is the best, but it's got good emotion, and the conclusion of this movie is really satisfying. And we're left with a couple scenes and the end credit scene. I did not stick around to the very end, but there's a mid credit sequence that basically both the scene at the end of the movie before the credits and the mid credits both set up where the story can potentially go for the next movie, and I'm excited for where that goes. If it's 10 years from now, that's okay. But yeah, I absolutely love this movie. Although I think Tron Legacy, I prefer the look of the costumes more because of the notion that Tron Ares it's technically stolen technology, or well, originally this was all from the same company, but this is now a new company. It's essentially their version. So when we get to that, it's cool, and the Jeff Bridges scene is cool. Um, there have been comments, kind of funny, did say like the line for why Jeff Bridges appears doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't, but it's okay. Who cares? It really doesn't matter. This is a cartoon movie. It's okay. His scene is great. Jeff Bridges is always great. So it's wonderful seeing Jeff Bridges back. And also hats off Gillian Anderson, Hassan Minaj, Arturo Castro, our other supporting characters. They all do a great job. I think this movie's solid. I really think it's a solid picture. It knows what it's trying to do, and it achieves it by movie's end. So that's my spoiler-free thoughts. Please go see this movie. Let me, if you have seen the movie, let me know what you think in the comments. And I will have a spoiler-full review coming out soon. Probably next week, like I usually do. All right. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Mahalo and aloha. New Movie Tuesdays. End of line, man. No, you're so cute. No, you're so cute. No, you are so. Yeah. Oh. What? Huh? Oh. 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 Oh yeah. Go see Tron Ares in theaters.